Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, like I said, I can see on my screen right now your responses to the survey. I would like to ask um, why you ventured into agric and poultry in the first instance, because at least growing up, um, the idea behind farming was that it's not for a certain class of people, but almost 100% of all the people I've interviewed up till now
Yeah.
don't fit into that preconceived class. Different people have different reasons, but I would like to hear yours as in the history and why you are into agric and poultry.
Well, one thing that is important to really think about it, what profession is ideal for any category of person? There's none. It all depends on how you value what you're doing. If you value what you're doing right, then it's okay for you. It all depends on the value you attach to whatever you're doing and the belief, the concept, the confidence you have in what you're doing. That's all. So if you go do your investigation, see what is needed in the country today and all that, and see where there's areas to improve, areas that one can venture in, you find out that agriculture, poultry, not necessarily poultry, but any form of agriculture that put foods on the table, it's highly recommended and needed. If you wait on importation of most of those things, by the time they've had some preservations and all that onto. So if you are eliminating the cost of preservation, it's something that is worth doing. It's
Mm.
worthwhile. So basically, that was it.
So essentially, the passion behind solving problems and providing value, in this case, nutrition and preservation. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
Okay, so
And
yeah, you want to say something, sir?
when you look at the country, when you look at where you are, you see, yeah. So when you look at where you are, you see where there's potential growth, where there's a potential opportunity to get to something before you venture to it. You table them down and you look at where you one way or the other fit in, and you're confident you can fit in. That's all.
A gap. I mean, that also sustains one as a person in
Exactly.
terms of being able to sustain
Exactly.
profit and the rest. Okay, sir. So at this point,
Exactly.
I'm going to sort of validate some of your answers that you gave during the survey before we proceed. Um,
Mhm.
so Sajoma General Enterprises and the survey basically tried to identify what the challenges to poultry farmers are. And for financial management, I mean, the ranking went from 0 to 5, with 5 being very challenging and 0 not so challenging. And for financial management, you ranked that it was 2, meaning it's not so challenging. So can I get the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, the reasoning behind that, when you look behind me, that is where I use for the poultry right now. And basically, approximately a plot of land is right in front of where I live at. And when you look at it, it's challenging. You start looking for money to at least get somewhere far away from, settlements where you can establish that. And this is just a start. which in a way it's like a temporary site, put it that way.
Okay.
You need to relocate to a bigger site. That is money too. Talking of acquiring land or leasing the land and all that. So yeah, it's a problem.
Okay, but I mean, your ranking was 2, that it's not so much of a
Are
problem.
you there?
Yes, I can hear you. Your ranking was 2, as in you ranked it as 2,
Yeah.
meaning it's not so much of a problem. So why not 5? Why did
Mm-hmm.
you rank financial management as
Mm-hmm.
very, very challenging?
Because like we're still at an early age. I just started,
Okay.
and it's all about growth. So it's like a prototype, right now,
Mm,
put it that
mm,
way.
mm, mm,
At the
mm,
end of the
mm.
day,
It's not yet time to scale.
we want it to be on a scale. Exactly.
Um, okay, sir. Because of internet, I'm going to switch off my video, sir, if you could, because I think the internet is beginning to
I think there's a
mess up.
lag in the internet. Is it
Yes,
from
so
my end there?
I'll switch off my video. If you could switch off yours, I'm sure it will be improved after this.
Hello?
Can you hear me now, sir? Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm going to stop video
I
so that
couldn't,
the internet, I mean, it will just be sound, and then the
connection.
internet should be better.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, sir, this reason, as per the fact that it's still prototype and not yet scaling, is that the same reason for
Yeah.
why record keeping is not so much of a challenge? Because you ranked record keeping
Oh,
as...
no, no, no. No. Because record keeping is prototype or not, record keeping is very, very vital.
Okay.
Is vital. So that is not why. Why I said it's not much of a challenge is that I I have a small idea on how to do that, creating
Okay.
records, even creating a little bit of an access programming that can handle that. Yes. So that is what I say it's not a big problem with that. Excel, I can use my Excel very well,
Mm,
and Access, Microsoft Access.
mm, true. Especially now where it's also still at a small stage and everything can depend on you. But if you were going to
Yeah.
scale to have maybe a network of employees, then you would have to pass that knowledge across to them as well. Um,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
No.
I can hear you quite clearly, sir. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? You
Yes,
can
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. I can hear you, sir, but can you hear
Hello?
me? Hello? Hello?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I think it's just the internet playing off because I could hear you all through, but you couldn't seem to hear me.
Ah, no, I couldn't hear you then. But it's okay now.
Now, okay, sir. So I'll take them in twos now because in terms of labor and research and development, you ranked them as moderately challenging. You ranked them as 3 for both. May I ask why?
Mhm. Uh, because you learn every day. Yeah, there could be some problem. You might think you have overcome some, and by the time you check, they might still be there gradually. Like especially when it comes to drinking,
Mm,
organizing drinking
mm,
water for them to drink and all that.
mm.
We thought about automation and all that. I told you then that we're doing it manually and
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, I found out that no, manually it's not working. And I derive a sort of a form that could deliver water to each
Okay.
drinking peg
Okay.
two way. Yeah, and right now that is
What is
working,
being
but
implemented?
still not fully. Yes, not fully automated right now. It's say partially manual, partially auto.
But some improvement
But
from when it was manual.
exactly, and that is bound to continue till a natural solution is found to it that will be acceptable.
Mm. The labor, is it due to availability of labor, or is it their skill level, or is it the
Like
issue of
if you
trust?
can hear me, remember then I said one of the problem is the odor coming out of the poultry, that's the
Yes,
smell, which is largely due to water
true,
dropping on the wood shavings and all that. So
true.
that's why the mechanism of delivering water to them for drinking is
The
very,
thing.
very important. And you find out that you improve on that till you get um, a good system that could deliver the water to them without it getting to the floor,
Mm.
even by the birds jumping around and doing all
Yes,
that.
yes, and then it
That's when it's
cakes.
challenging, but it cakes, yes. And once it start caking from there, it starts releasing those odors that you don't want.
Yeah, fully, I get that. So I was asking about labor. What aspect of labor is challenging? Is it their skill level? Is it the availability of finding labor, or is it trust?
Oh, it's not trust. Remember, if you remember very well when we said it last time, I was saying something of doing it
Family and friends.
personally
Yeah.
and getting our friends, getting family, you know. So when I say challenging, it's not yet ready to go full scale and
Mm,
hiring someone to
mm.
do it. You see what I mean?
I see
I'm
what
still
you mean.
considering that, but
Yeah.
at least we can make it right now. But yes, that could be something. So it's not about trust.
Yeah.
I think trust can be established once
Yeah.
you start getting somebody and you are already have two people assisting,
Yeah.
one in delivery aspect, the other in helping out bit by bit with the farm, but still not fully skilled.
Mm.
I'm training, training them.
Yeah. 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 I get that. Okay, so we move on to market access. You ranked it
Yeah.
as quite challenging, need help, because that's the ranking 4.
Yeah.
Then
Hmm.
for contract and ethics, sanctity of contracts, like people being able to keep to their agreement, you ranked it as 2, which is a little challenging, but you are handling it with some issues. So
Hmm.
I know we've discussed it before, but we could go over it again. Why is market access such a problem? Given that there is huge demand for poultry and poultry products. The statistics we have is that in 2019, in Nigeria, 890 billion naira was consumed for poultry and poultry products. Yet that's still not meeting the demand. The demand still, we still have 20 million birds excess demand. So why is market access then such a huge challenge?
Okay, you know, it's like a little bit from observations carried out or seen from last time till now. I can give you an insight to that. You see, most of our people today still believes that when you import these belts,
Mm.
that they are a little bit much better without
Ah,
thinking of the preservation mode that has been used to it. So I
yeah.
think awareness is very, very vital in the marketing aspect for them to
Mm.
know that you're buying something that is fresh,
Yeah,
that is not on the ship for
yeah.
2 months with preservations
Mm.
on it.
Mm.
So that will help a lot. Right now, it is still a little bit difficult.
Mm.
You know the mentality. They want imported
Yeah, yeah.
without caring how it
The
is
health and safety
being made.
concerns.
Yes, without really caring about that. And I believe it's all about information and education and enlightenment for them to know what is actually going on. Yeah, we might have a lot of it in the country, but still, it's a question of getting enough patronage.
Mm. Yeah, to make it a sustainable cycle. A cycle where the
Exactly.
poultry farmer is smiling to the bank and can reinvest into the business in order to expand.
Exactly.
Okay, so I can move on to your production inputs, your feed, your medication. Um,
Yeah,
you said the cost is more of a challenge than the availability. Availability you can find, but then the cost is an issue. Your current model, are
that's
you
an
going to the markets to buy, or are you having an arrangement where people deliver it to you conveniently?
um, you know, I know about two dealers that are dealing on this, but instead of them supplying it to me directly, I go there to pick them up.
Mm.
Have a truck, go there, pick them up. But the biggest issue is that the rate at which these prices changes.
So it's not even really that it's expensive, it's the instability leading to the fact that you can't adequately
Exact,
plan.
exactly. The last time we spoke, what you get for about 5,005, you won't believe is now 8,000 plus
No,
a bag of feed.
no. That's like
Yeah,
60%, 60% increase.
50, 70 increase. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy. They are there because we don't. I don't go just to the market to get them. The dealers, whereby
Yeah,
they have their supplies almost
yeah,
every
there's a
week.
distributorship channel.
Distributorship, yes. So the actual problem is the fluctuating price and all that.
Okay, that's for the aspect of the challenges. And the last time we also discussed potential solutions. So what I'm going to do now is I will present to you, having spoken to, I think up to date, I've spoken to 11 different uh, poultry farmers
Support.
and gotten their
Okay.
views. And so I'll present to you, I'll quickly share my screen, our proposed solution. I would also describe it a
Okay.
bit, and then
Okay.
we can now discuss it further. So what we
Okay.
feel is that all these challenges that we have listed, we feel we can group them into three different categories. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, I can say that. Knowledge gap, skill gap, and market
Market force.
force.
Exactly. So the knowledge gap part, we feel anything that has to do with, oh, what is even the best practices? For example, the manual provision of water versus the semi-automated that you have done. And what you see is that everybody seems to be doing trial by error, whereas if there was an established best practice, your cost of learning, because it costs you to learn to move from manual to semi-automated will be significantly reduced. Biosecurity, the things you need to do to reduce mortality of your birds, R&D, application of technology, all those things are knowledge gap. I didn't know, I wish I knew. Skill gap, okay, financial management, because it takes some skill to be able to access finance, preparing your business plan, knowing what documentation, preparing your cash flow, your budget, sticking to them. Take some skill in terms of human resource and labor. For example, you're more or less maybe like a PhD holder in poultry farming now. By the time you're going to expand, you're going to want to teach the people you hire that skill. Farm records keeping, like you said, you've already perhaps created your structure in Excel and in Access. So that has to do with skill gap. Market forces, access to market. So a lot of people, their channel is to try and sell to wholesalers who now sell to consumers. And it's a challenge for them because of those ones, the cabal nature of them trying to fix prices. Pay about 2,000 and if you don't sell it, you now start incurring additional cost for feed. So it's like being between the devil and the deep blue sea. Then availability and cost of inputs, we've discussed that. Ethics and contract sanctity. I interviewed a poultry farmer who she said she had an agreement with a supermarket chain that after I supply, I get paid after, I think she said 30 days or 45 days. The first one, they didn't pay. She supplied again, they didn't pay. Now they're owing her up to $500,000, and it's now to the point where she has to try and start engaging legal help to get her money, and she's no longer supplying them. So all those we group under market forces. Would you say this captures how this way we've categorized actually makes sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It does.
Okay. So the solution we're preferring is because the entire idea is can technology go a long way in resolving these problems? Whether we like it or not, you are already applying technology. For example, the water issue, you said you've moved from manual to semi-auto, and you are hoping one day to perhaps go auto. So that's technology. Technology could be hardware, it could be software, it could be processes. But we're offering or proposing some kind of technology solution that solves those three categories of problems. So for knowledge gap, an enterprise management software that provides information. For skill gap, the software will provide SOPs. So SOPs, standard operating procedures, are like, instead of focusing on.
Give me one second, please.
Okay, sir. I'll just.
Godwin. Yeah, Godwin. Just 1 second. Yeah, how are you? Okay. Where they give you? You should be you buy for yesterday. Okay, I will send it to you. I'm in a meeting now. Just give me like 10, 15 or 20 minutes, then I will send it to you. All right. Sorry, Mr. Yemi.
Not a problem, sir. Not a problem at all. So like I was saying, standard operating procedures, our idea behind that is that right now, the ecosystem is approaching it as, people who are experts. So you hire somebody, you spend some time in training him, he becomes an expert. If he leaves, another person comes in, you have to train that person for him to become an expert. So rather than that, could the system establish a process or procedures, standard operating procedures, where whether you know the reason why or not, these are the steps you are to take. Wake up in the morning, the system prompts you, it's time to clean the hen house, and this is how to go about it. 12 o'clock, you get a prompt. These are the feed combinations you should use, starter, grower, in so and so kilogram. 2 days later, it prompts you, it's time for medication. So the software that we propose establishes standard operating procedures, which we believe will resolve the skill gap. Then for market forces. So imagine a situation where 1,000 people are now using this software, and we now approach the suppliers or the manufacturers of feed and say, look, we can reduce your marketing cost, we can reduce your distribution cost because we have 1,000 farmers. Just give them 10% discount, right? And don't even worry about the distribution. We will come and carry it ourselves and distribute it to our farmers, thereby reducing the cost and availability of inputs. I mean, if you approach anyone and say, I have 1,000 farmers, that person would be willing to go into expanding his production for maybe locally manufactured feed rather than importation that is currently happening. Also, if you have 1,000 farmers, you are using the software, you are able to estimate and know that, oh, by December, we're going to be having 200,000 chickens mature. Okay, let's start negotiating with eateries and hotels and even final consumers to start placing their orders for these 200,000 chickens that will be available. So we believe these three approaches using software can solve these problems to a large extent. What are your views? What do you think this is tenable?
Yeah, they sounds good. They sounds good, and it looks promising. Following it up systematically, just as you've outlined there, yeah, it's something that is, I believe, is workable.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have a projected view of what is coming now at any point in time.
Sure.
So that makes it.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, because I mean, I have a limited Zoom plan which will go off very soon. But as a matter of fact, we're already working on a prototype to test it out, a software that people will be able to log into. And let me just quickly share the screen to show you how it looks like. But
Before you do that, so that we don't forget, you see one very important aspect is from the platform, the app you're talking of. Will is it possible to get like those eateries or the marketing assistant that you outlined there, to get them enrolled so that at least you know who to talk to? Because one thing is this: after you've done all that, the most important thing, it's getting the birds out, just like you outlined.
Sure.
It's getting them out. If you cannot get them out, it's a big problem.
So you're 100% right. And the approach we are taking, which is going to influence the kind of funding we ask, is this. Why are farmers under pressure? They are under pressure because they need to keep feeding the stock once they are mature. So we feel this can be solved if we also invest in slaughtering and cold storage, right?
Yeah.
So that once the birds are mature, because the farmer is under your platform, you could get the chickens, slaughter them, put them in cold storage. And you don't wait till that time. You have already started discussing with the eateries and the hotels. So it becomes some kind of just-in-time system where the eatery, as at 6 weeks, 7 weeks, has already placed its order. So by the time it's 9 weeks and the birds are mature, it's just an entire process of getting it from the farmer who is under your platform, slaughtering, cold storage, distribution, logistics, eatery. So as you've pointed out, in terms of features, this feature is the number one feature that most of the people I've interviewed have highlighted, that if your solution can give us market access first, then the second thing they now prioritize, especially for those who don't really have hands-on involvement, like they have a farm manager, they are in the city, the farm manager is at location. The second thing they requested for was the ability to have a bird's eye view, an overview of what's happening in the farm, which is what I am currently sharing on the screen. So your point is well taken, which even leads me to now the next question, because we talked about how much you're willing to pay the last time we spoke. So the current methodology, revenue model, is one where we're saying, if we offer this service, will you be willing to pay 2,000 naira a month for this service? And what value is going to be the deciding factor for you to say, if I get this, yes, I can pay this amount a month?
Yeah, the 2,000 a month is okay, provided, just like you've outlined there, the access to the market is there. The access to the market is very, very important. If it's there, yeah. Then secondly, when you talk in terms of slaughtering and
cold storage,
cold storage and all that, the access to such facilities too, if it's going to be there, that would be good. Or, when I say there, not necessarily providing it fully like that, but those that have those cold storing facility, or those that have access to them, they are the one that buy from the farm. Hey, this number, slaughter it, and they pick it up.
Exactly.
That if that is there, then all the farmer needs to do is
focus on
rear
his growth, on
for
his birds.
8 weeks, 9 weeks, boom, they're gone. Another set takes over. So yeah, if there will be things like that to assist, why not? Yeah, the 2,000 naira is okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your time. These are the points I want to raise on the interview. However, there's just one last request I would make, and I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. There's something called this sentiment you've expressed. My request is if it can be sent to us on an email that, look, if you are able to give me access to markets and access to some services like slaughtering and cold storage, I believe 2,000 naira a month is something that I can pay. So, well, I'll send that to you on WhatsApp. And if I can get it as an email, I get back to the accelerator program with this actionable data. And whatever happens, whether or not they give support, I'm passionate enough about this project to move on with it. So, and thank you so much for agreeing to be on my mailing list. I would make sure that I keep you posted as we go along.
No problem with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
You have a great day, sir.
And you too. Thank you.